Good morning, good morning, good morning. I hope you're having a good morning. So, we're going to sit down. I'm going to have a sip of my coffee, get my morning started. I hope you have something to get your morning started. A little overcast today, which is good. Had a lot of rain yesterday, and we like the overcast because we don't want the sun burning off that moisture. We like it nice and moist. Luna doesn't like it too moist because she, mommy doesn't like it when she gets all muddy. She gets muddy and brings mud in the house. So she's a little snatched it away from me. I couldn't even get the ball. It was right there. She said, "No, that's my ball." It's funny. She loves me to throw it, but then she also loves to snatch it away from me before we can get to it. Ah, so today the topic is energy independence. We'll talk about the empathies and the stuff, but first, a little personal history. This is me talking here. So, when I was growing up, when I got close to the age of driving, so I already had that glimmer of being able to drive myself, and I got that uh, itchy feeling. Oh, I get to drive, I get to go places. I was excited, but that happened really early on. And so, one of the things that happened was years before I got to drive, they told us run, we had run out of oil, and the U.S. was going to uh, not have any oil for a while, and it looked like everything was going to go downhill. It was the closest in my life where governments and officials and everybody else were telling me things that were apocalyptic, that we may be facing huge deceleration of all quality of life. My dad used to tell me tricks that he would do to get a couple more miles to the gallon. One of them was we would get up behind a semi and draft off of it so that the air was helping to pull us a little bit. He told me I can get a couple more miles from that. Yeah, and people were lining up for the gas pump, and there were movies that were about the uh, desperation for oil, and it was pretty bleak. I must admit, as far as impacts to my life that were negative, this one was pretty high up there. I was really worried that I if I got to drive, it was going to be not the liberating thing that I thought it was going to be, but more of a expensive, restricted type thing because it looked really bad there for a long time. So one of the things that we did was, as a country, we started uh, putting oil away, emergency reserves, just in case oil got cut off to the country, we would have something to keep our defenses operational. Um, and as you guys are aware, that maybe some of you guys don't remember, but you can look it up. I believe it started in the late 70s. Just look at the oil crisis in the 70s, 1970s. And as you guys are aware, things changed. We came up with some new technologies called fracking. There was a little more oil we found out in the ocean areas and Alaska that had made a huge change in the amount of stuff that we can access to use for oil. So right now, everything's looking good. Uh, I shouldn't say right now, because right now there's a lot of concern with Russia's war, which is causing a little disruption. I'm just saying, right now, I don't look at 4 years from now us not being able to drive anywhere. So, however, you got people like Elon Musk who came along and said, well, it is it is what is called a non-renewables fuel. So we have a limited capacity. What can we do to make the brightness of the future high for all humanity? And one of the things we can do is we can get a future that uses things like electricity from the sun. I have some solar panels on my house. Got too many actually. Yeah. Uh, quick note: if you're buying solar, you they usually take your utility bill and they say, given how much you use in your utility bill, this is how much you should buy solar panel wise. Don't do that. Get a little less. Uh, the solar panels actually hit they cover your roof a little bit, so this a lot of the heat energy that hits your roof, yeah, you're not that heat energy is not going to be there anymore. So your utility bills would go down anyway. So just I recommend like 75% or something like that. Just my personal experience in Texas, probably much different if you're in different parts of the country. But yeah, I overdid it on my solar panels. I definitely overdid it. I wish I hadn't bought quite so many, but I am glad that I bought some. Um, so the solar panels are producing electricity and feeding the mine are actually pushing electricity out to the grid, especially during the day when it's hot. So it's actually helping out quite a bit. The other thing, so oh, uh, so he thought solar panels, but he said, we could still use other energies. And he's not an advocate of shutting down oil wells. He says we need that while we're producing this. There's a huge ramp that has to occur in order to switch your economy from oil consumption to using other types of energy. That takes a lot of stuff. So um, I don't have an electric car. We had a hybrid, and my wife was in an automobile accident, and it destroyed our hybrid car. And the world was crazy trying to get cars when that happened. It was the worst, the best of times, the worst of times. I'll explain that real quick. So we couldn't get the car we wanted. However, they gave us back almost exactly what we paid for the hybrid, even though it was 6 years old. So crazy? Yes. We got a new car, which is a RAV4. We wanted the hybrid RAV4, but they said, oh, maybe in 2 or 3 months we can get it for you. And it was a maybe. We're like, ooh, we only have one car and I got to get to work. I didn't want to call my boss and tell him, I can make it into work a couple of months. I could work remote a little bit, but they they want me to work 60% there and 40% remote tops. They would love 100%, but anyway. So Elon was trying to push oh, I can hear the rain. It's raining a little bit. That's wonderful. The So he's out there. So now, here's the good argument, and this is a good argument actually. And I'm going to do the empathy stuff for uh, gas and versus solar next time because this is a lot of background, and it's a topic that I really enjoy talking about. So the argument is oil. U.S. has it. We were actually an exporter of oil. Uh, we have it, and by going to solar, are we becoming energy independent? Big question mark, because almost all the material that's used to produce solar comes from China. So, are we moving our dependency from the oil producing countries to the Chinese solar producing countries? That's actually a good question. We actually don't have the factories here to produce solar panels. There's a lot that could be done to remedy that. It's not like we can't move a lot of that technology. We have the ability to create factories here in the US. The problem we run into is bureaucratic licensing and people. We have to uh, get people to want to work at those factories. But it's possible, and it would be more expensive here because they've been able to optimize a lot of their supply chains and keep their costs fairly low. And we have not been able to do that. So, yes, we're moving it from the oil producing countries to the countries that produce the solar, which is mostly in the, I'm going to say Far East because it's uh, China, Japan, Korea, Taiwan, all those places are where we get a lot of the technologies. I think my solar panels were actually produced in Japan. I think they were produced in Japan. I know it was a Japanese company, and I looked at the components, and they seem to be sourced by Japanese companies. However, take that with a grain of salt because a lot of manufacturing in Japan has now been outsourced to other countries. Uh, but it's hard to tell. But my point is it a step in the right direction? I personally think yes. I don't get really upset with people that are doing the oil as a big thing. I just wish they would say, let's not give up on oil. Let's keep it going. And then let's get this other technology ramped up and get at least some of it produced in the United States. Yes, it's raining. I hear it raining too. I hear it. Yeah. Yeah, it's raining out there. Oh, don't get out here. It is. It's raining. She's scared that I'll get wet. She's worried about me getting out here when it's possible thunder and stuff. Uh, so I'm going to close off right there, and we're going to talk about empathy next time because I also have some stories about empathy in both directions. However, as someone who actually bought solar panels, I'm happy I did. I'm happy I bought them. They weren't cheap. They were expensive. I got a pretty good loan. It actually didn't cost me about $1,000 that I had to put down to get them on here. And now I have a loan, a 20-year loan at 1% interest to pay them off. So it was a pretty good deal. And then I also got some rebates from the taxes. So I'm happy I did it. I hope you guys have a good day. And I'm going to enjoy a little bit of moisture, got a little rain. It's always nice to have rain. I'm a Texan. I always love the rain. I actually can see a little bit of green already. Geez, that's crazy that the green is coming out on the grass after just one rain. Yeah. Anyway, hope you guys have a wonderful day, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.